Hello everyone, Silent here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to build a new and improved item filter for your Minecraft worlds. This isn't really anything fancy or too special, it's just a standard single slice item filter that sorts out a single type of item. As you can see, we're sorting out a ton of different little items in this mini system that I've built here for demonstration, and this thing works perfectly. It's an absolute charm. But you might be wondering, why don't we just use the standard Impulse SV item sorter for Minecraft? This thing has been around for absolutely ages. Everybody knows about this. Literally everybody builds it. So many people have already done a tutorial on it that aren't Impulse. But this thing actually has a couple of flaws on the Bedrock Edition. It's not really any fault of the design. It's really just a fault of the game with the randomness of hoppers. So as you can see with this little tiny demonstration system that we have set up, we are sorting cobblestone using Impulse's design, and then we are sorting stone using the new and improved design for Bedrock Edition. So I did a whole bunch of little tests and actually got it on camera. The Impulse system kind of just fails randomly. It even somehow failed 8 times in a row for sorting cobblestone. So it's not quite a reliable sorting system. However, as you can see, there is no stone in the overflow chest. So the actual new and improved system is indeed much more reliable. I actually tested this system with about, 10, maybe 20,000 items, like a lot of items for many hours, and not a single item ever missed. So it's a very reliable system. So while the new system may be slightly more expensive, it still has all of the pros of the old system, and that it is one wide tileable, so you can put multiple of these things right next to each other and it'll be just fine. It is also overflow proof, so even if this thing gets completely backed up with items 100% full, it is not going to break these sorters right next to it. And that is pretty much all there is to it. It's also completely silent as well, even though we are using a piston in this build. So there's not really any flaws to this system, and it's also completely reliable as well. So before we hop into this build tutorial, I do want to show you exactly why the standard Impulse SV item sorter is not reliable. And that is because in the Bedrock Edition, we have kind of random hoppers. So you can take note of exactly which order these items are in this chest. We can go ahead and unflick that lever, and when we see them pile into this chest, they will be in a different order. So this really messes with a lot of different things, including this Impulse item sorter as well. So I tried many different designs and iterations and just different concepts to get a much more reliable item sorter. However, it was actually the removal of this repeater right here that makes the sorter a little bit faster that actually made it more reliable. So it's a pretty simple fix. It might be a little bit more expensive, but overall, I think this is pretty worth it for your worlds and your sorting systems as well. So let's hop into the tutorial, shall we? As you can imagine, this is going to be a pretty straightforward build process, but I will be going in depth in case you're not aware of how to actually build these item sorters properly, and I'll just be telling you everything that you need to know. So I'm just going to be doing the tutorial on a single slice build, but you can of course make it multiple slices with multiple different filters all right next to each other, and you can make it pretty much as tall or as short as you want as well. But the materials that you will need for a single item filter are the contents of this chest right here. So pretty self-explanatory. However, you'll need at least one chest and at least 2 hoppers per section, but you're definitely going to need more of these in general because it's a sorting system. You're going to need a lot of those 2 things. You're also going to want 41 of the actual item that you want to sort, and 4 renamed actual filter items to help make your system run smoothly. I'll talk more about these in just a minute. So to get started, you want to figure out what you want the front of your storage system to look like. I'm just going to have 3 double chests all facing to the side. These can be single chests, these can be shulker boxes, or pretty much any inventory in the game, as long as they actually store items. So we're just going to go behind these and place a hopper facing into the backside of all of those chests. As you can see, they're all facing to the side. Place a temporary block above that chest with 1 more hopper facing into the side right there. And that is pretty much all we need for the actual hoppers. And now we need to build up the redstone out the backside. So we're going to go ahead and place a block level with our very top chest and another block level with this additional hopper right here. Place a piece of obsidian level with your top chest and then you want to get yourself a piston facing upwards right underneath that piece of obsidian. And because this is facing into a piece of obsidian, it will not be able to extend, so it will never actually make any noise, which is pretty, pretty useful. So now go ahead and place a piece of glass by that piece of obsidian and just 2 solid blocks up like that. Place a comparator on top of that obsidian, and then just 3 redstone going down like so. And finally a redstone torch right there on that piston, and that is going to power that block, locking both of these hoppers right here. And that means that we can put our actual item filter inside of that hopper. So let's go ahead and build up just a little bit of an item transportation line. So I'm just going to place in 3 hoppers right there and a couple of chests. So this is going to be our output chest for items. This is going to be our input chest for items. And anything that doesn't get sorted by your item filters is going to end up in this chest right here. But we'll see that in action a moment. So what you want to do now is actually set up your actual item filter. So decide on what you want to be filtered into this slice. I'm just going to be filtering out cobblestone. So I'm just going to drop a stack of cobblestone in there, and that should drop down to about 45 items. So basically this comparator is reading through this block, reading that hopper, and when that has more than 45 items in it, that's going to produce a signal strength of 3, which will then power this piston right here and unpower that torch, allowing it to drain out items. And it will always stop once it has 45 items in that hopper. So now you want to fill up the rest of these 4 slices right here. And you want to do that with any kind of item that isn't going to be going through your sorting system. And you also want to make sure that this item stacks in stacks of 64. And it's also a really good idea to rename this item as well. That way you're really sure it's not going to get, messed up. So that should make this main stack right here drop down to 41. And that is your entire item sorter completely done. So be sure to never throw through your actual renamed items into your sorting system. Otherwise, that would mess up your item sorter and not be a good time at all. But now we can go ahead and throw through some cobblestone into our input chest. That'll go over, get drained down. As you can see, it's going 42, 41, and as you can see, none of them are ever going into our output chest as well. They are all going right down to the very bottom chest right here. As I said earlier, you can build this system as tall as you really want. What you do from pretty much this point onwards is completely up to you, so you don't actually even need any of that. You pretty much just need this hopper, and this hopper can go into whatever else you want. So if you don't have obsidian, what you can do is instead make this piston face downwards, and that'll be totally fine. But what that's going to do is it's going to activate that piston every single time your system filters an item, which is going to be very, very loud and possibly laggy as well. I would definitely not recommend making this face downwards. So another thing that you can do is actually make all of your pistons face to the side, and then at the very end just put 1 piece of obsidian. As you can see, this system is currently filtering out some cobblestone, and none of these are going to be extending because of that piece of obsidian. It's a very convenient way to save on some obsidian, and it does not harm the functionality of the system at all. So if you are playing on a very laggy world or a realm or something that just has like a ton of lag, I can't quite guarantee that this system will be 100% reliable, simply because Bedrock Edition is weird, and well, it's kind of hard to get systems that are 100% reliable when you got so much lag. However, what you can do is just kind of double up on these kinds of systems, so have maybe like 2, maybe 3 of these item filters right next to each other for 1 type of item, and that's kind of a cheap way to get around it. Maybe in the future I'll find a way to get a truly always 100% reliable sorting system. That would be really quite nice, but as for now, this is a significant improvement to the Impulse SV1 on the Bedrock edition of Minecraft. Anyway, I hope that you all did enjoy this tutorial. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then of course hit me up in the comment section down below. Always trying to help you guys out as best as I possibly can. And if you did enjoy this tutorial, maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one that I upload. Leave a like on the video as well, that helps out the video and the channel significantly, and thank you very much for doing so. But I will see you all down in that comment section and in the next one. Thank you again for watching. And then there was silence.